224 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking. Of course, I'm talking about draft day.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Game Time Brian, otherwise known as Game Time Brian. Today we have the day off. Yes, we sit here after watching the Sunday games. You know, enjoyed the games. We did enjoy the games. Watching a stout Dallas victory, albeit. With a 5-win team, meaning the Cowboys, we get to 6-8. Yes, we are 6-8, tied with a bunch of other mediocre teams. A lot of these other teams don't have the injuries that we do. And so I would just tell you, and we're going to go over it, again, a lot of these teams, there's a lot of bad football teams, a lot of teams that need work from the ground up. We did get some bad news. Yes, we got some bad news. Seems as though that Trevon Diggs needs microfracture surgery. Microfracture surgery is not something to play with. It's not good, people. It is a bad thing for Trevon Diggs. You're starting to hear post-June release. I don't know that that'll happen this year. The hits keep on hitting with this team. Dallas, he's a Pro Bowler, had knee surgery, now microfracture surgery. Google it. It's an interesting technique where they put a bunch of holes in your knee, basically to spur blood flow to the knee and to healing. I don't know. I know in the past when teams have needed players have needed a microfracture, it's been a Band-Aid, not a fix. But yeah, we'll see. Unfortunately, I don't think Trayvon's going to be long for the Cowboys. I don't. I see him being a possible release at some point, just based on his health. Take the hit and move on. Sucks. That's the NFL. Dallas just seems to be getting inundated with injuries. And then I'm the one guy who said I wish no ill will towards anybody, yet my team is getting pounded by injuries, pounded by debilitating injuries. Trolls are out there laughing and happy and joking. And, man, it's just alarming what some of the fan bases, how rude they are. But hey, you got to lay your head on your pillow at night. So that's on you guys. But we are here to talk about the draft. Yes, the draft. We sit here middle of December, January, February, March, April. 4 months away from really getting down to the nitty gritty. The updated draft board, and I will show that updated draft order after yesterday. Here we go. Updated draft order. It's the New York Giants, Las Vegas Raiders at number 2, New England Patriots at number 3. Now remember, Giants, no major injury there. Nothing major. Raiders, okay, they don't have a quarterback. They just lost Crosby for this game. New England Patriots, a young team. Jacksonville Jaguars, they've had some injuries, but just not a good organization. You saw the Carolina Panthers. They've been taking everybody down to the wire, yet the Cowboys go into Carolina and blow them out. Just shows you the difference in talent level between the franchises. The Tennessee Titans, 3-11. Not a good team. Cleveland Browns, they're a mess of an organization, also 3-11. Jets, 4-10. Jets they have some defensive talent, but they are a a train wreck everywhere else. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, doesn't matter. Breeze Hall. They have a lot of pieces. I don't know what's wrong with the Jets. Are they cursed? Maybe, possibly. Chicago Bears, I think they're the one team. They play tonight. They are an up-and-coming team, still 4-9. New Orleans Saints, I could say, have been inundated with injuries. They've lost some of their talent. 5-9. Again, look at it. Now we get with all the teams that are tied with us. Okay, so realistically, we're not catching the Bears, people. We're not. Now, we could lose the next three. We have, and we'll get to that, but let me finish this. Miami Dolphins at 6-8, remaining schedule. Home against San Fran, at Cleveland, home against at the Jets. They're going to win at least two of those, so they should be behind the Cowboys when it's all said and done. Indianapolis Colts played well yesterday, home against Tennessee, at the Giants, home against Jacksonville. I think they win two of those. I do. So that's, yeah, they're getting, Miami and Indy are both getting to 8 wins. Cincinnati Bengals, 6-8, home against Cleveland, home against Denver, at Pittsburgh. I think they get to maybe one more win. So they go to 7-8. So they're the one team. So I think we move up 2 spots, people. Dallas Cowboys home against Tampa. I think we lose. At Philly, I think we lose. And Washington, I think I really hope that Washington does not have it wrapped up. I say we lose out. We end up with 6 wins. We could end up with 7. San Francisco 49ers at Miami, home against Detroit, at Arizona. I think we both lose out, to be honest with you, but let's say Niners win 1. If we both win 1 more, then they are behind us, yes. And then the Atlanta Falcons, I think Atlanta probably wins tonight. Las Vegas, New York, at Las Vegas, New York Giants, at Washington. So I think they get at least 2 more wins, so they go to 8. And Arizona's at 7. At Carolina, at the Rams, home against San Fran. They win at least 1. They get to 8. So I think we improve our spot. I think we're going to settle in somewhere around 12, possibly 11. But I would say around 12. We're not catching 5 wins, people. Again, yet the Saints would win a tiebreaker over us because of strength of schedule. So even if the Saints win the Vegas game, they're not winning at Tampa, they're not winning at Green Bay, we're not catching Chicago. We're not getting that far. So you see what I'm talking about here. It was always going to be this. Look at all the bad records. Look at them all. That's just what it is, people. Now, going by that, the remaining strength of schedule, and I will up the so you guys can see it a little bit. The remaining strength of schedule is Chicago. They have 4 games left. They play Minnesota tonight, and then they got Detroit, Green Bay, Seattle. New England, they play Buffalo twice. Let me change they play Buffalo twice, and they play the Chargers. So then the Dallas Cowboys, Eagles, Buccaneers, Washington, Eagles. So again, we have one of the toughest remaining schedules. So we're going to finish somewhere around, I'm saying around 12. I'm going to pretty much tell you now we're going to finish 12. And again, you're within striking distance to move up a couple spots if you want, or move down, depending. Now, I'm going to review the updated draft. Well, the updated draft order as we current. Well, I'm going to show you this, and then we'll do the mock. This is the mock draft. This is the latest mock draft. This happened about a week and a half ago. Dane Brugler. This was before the latest draft order reset. Just remember, we're drafting around 12. Right now, you got the Giants. They're going to take a quarterback, not Travis Hunter. So let's say the Giants take Shedeur Sanders. I have a feeling that's where they're going to go. Again, updated draft order, New York Giants. And then number 2 is going to be Cam Ward. It doesn't matter if they're reversed. If Giants take Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders will go to the Raiders. I like that better for Shedeur, but we'll see. New England Patriots is 3. So Jacksonville dropped. So anyway, how he has it is Shedeur Sanders, Will Campbell, offensive tackle, going to the Patriots. Interesting. Carolina Panthers, Abdul Carter, edge rusher. Abdul Carter's not making it to 12. Jalen Walker, linebacker, edge, Georgia. Michael Williams, edge, Georgia. I'm not a big fan of him. Here's where you get into the Mason Graham, the guy that would really fit well with the Cowboys. Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. Having a top 10 in major need, a quarterback feels like similar territory for Cleveland. Now, breaking news, Drew Aller. Drew Aller has just came out this morning and said he is returning to Penn State for his senior year. So that takes him off the board. Some mocks had him creeping in the top 10. Drew Aller is not available for the Cowboys or anybody else this year. So that kind of hurts Dallas because that's another guy that could possibly creep in the discussion. People get all whacked out when it comes to quarterbacks. They just do. Mason Graham. Many in Ohio saw Graham's impact last weekend against the Buckeyes and would welcome that type of player. So, unfortunately, he's going to say Will Johnson, cornerback, with the recent, with the emergence of the latest Trevon Diggs, he's going to be out 8 months, but I'm just telling you, microfracture surgery is not good. Microfracture lends to long-term issues. It just does. So pray for Trevon, really. New Orleans Saints, Tat McMillan. I don't know that I like that for the Saints. They got Olave and Shaheed, but I think they need some. I think a guy like Malachi Starks would fit perfectly with the Saints. This is where I think Tat McMillan could be within reach for the Cowboys if they like him. Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, good, go. So that sets up. Just remember, we would be in the 12th spot. They have Malachi Starks going, but if Starks were to go to the Saints, remember, Bears, they're not going. They have Rome Odunze. They're not going receiver. They're going to go tackle. A Tet McMillan could fall into our lap, but a Burden most likely will be there. And in this particular mock, they have us taking Luther Burden, the third wide receiver out of Missouri. The cries for Ashton Genty will be loud, and it wouldn't be surprising if ultimately Dallas is picked, but the Cowboys also need more explosive options in the passing game. And their in-season trade for Mingo won't prevent them from going receiver in round 1. Looking at Derek Harmon, he's not a Cowboy-type player. He's kind of all over the map, very inconsistent. Again, looking at these players here. Again, James Pierce, no, thank you. Ashton Genty drops to 21 to the Commanders. Now, I wouldn't like that because he's going to the Commandos. So that'll be interesting. That's where we currently sit. Again, we are not that far off from... We are not that far, people. We're not that far from the draft. We got 3 games left. We got 2 games on tonight that we'll be streaming. Just wanted to give you an updated draft order. And we sit at 14, but realistically, we could go as high. Again, let's draft order, updated draft order. Realistically, we could go as high as 11, but I'm going to say 12. I don't think we drop any further because you got the 49ers tied with us. We would get the higher pick if we're tied. Their schedule is like ours, easier, but like ours. Atlanta Falcons, they're going to win a couple games, and then now we're getting into 7 and 8 win teams. That's not a problem. So 11 or 12 is where we're going to fall. I had been saying 11. We could still fall at 11. I think the Dolphins could beat San Fran and either the Jets. So I think 11 or 12, obviously, but it's very important that we do not win another game at this point. And we still won't be able to get to 10 people, but we can get to 11 and 12. And if we're at 11 and 12, and if there's a player at 2 spots ahead of us, you got plenty of ammunition to go get that player. We don't have a 4th round pick. That's what's frustrating with this team. Nothing against Jonathan Mingo. I think he can be a decent player, but this was not the year to be giving out your 4th round picks. So again, let me share the screen so you guys understand. Updated, we sit at 14. We have one of the hardest schedules remaining, 3rd hardest in the league, hardest among the teams that are above us. Okay, the Bengals are going to be Cleveland. They played Denver at home and at Pittsburgh. So they're going to get to 7. Okay, if we tie with them, they're still ahead of us. So that's iffy. The Colts home against Tennessee, home against Jacksonville, at the Giants. They could win all 3 of those. They're at least going to win 2. We're going to jump the Colts. Dolphins 6 and 8, home against San Fran. I think they win. At Cleveland, I think they win. At the Jets, I think they win. They could at least win 2 of those. So we could get to 11, but I'm safely saying 12. So, but we're not catching the Saints with 5. We're not. Even if we tie with them, we lose it. We're not catching 4. So right here, baby, that's it. 11 or 12. Think 12. If we lose out, think 12. And that is a fair thing to think. Let me know what you think. Who do you possibly want? Just wanted to do an updated draft order for the Dallas Cowboys and the remaining schedule. It is what it is, people. Everybody say a prayer for Trevon Diggs. Hopefully the surgery goes well. But we're hearing rumors of possible release at some point for, just because. And I'd rather do that than wait. So this is where Stephen Jones likes to run his mouth about not wanting to do any free agents. He's just blowing smoke, people. Don't expect high-end free agents. Maybe a trade. Maybe a trade. Maybe a trade. But that's it, people. Let me know what you think. 11 or 12 was where we're going to finish for the draft. We will be covering the draft a lot. I know me and Primetime Phil, I plan on doing a lot. Looking forward to it. We lost a good one. Drew Aller is returning to Penn State. And that stinks because he's a guy that would have dropped everybody down. And I'm going to start getting into these players more and more. Once the combine comes right after the year, you are going to see more movement, more guys that aren't in the conversation now elevate just based on non-football activity, basically. How they run their 40, their short shuttle, their 3-cone. That's what's going to happen. But all right, everybody, I will talk to everybody later. I will be streaming tonight. I believe me and Primetime Phil are going to go on at 7 o'clock. I'll be streaming the games right after at 8 o'clock, and I'll talk to everybody later. Just remember, and this is always the case.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Late.
Come out to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.